What really happens when Iranian missiles strike the heart of Israel? In one of the worst and most dangerous attacks ever seen, and even worse, Israel's advanced air defense system failed. Iran launched a new offensive using ballistic missiles against Israel, but this time with fragmentation warheads. These warheads explode mid-air, releasing dozens of submunitions over a wide and unpredictable area. This wasn't just an ordinary missile launch. It was a clear signal that the way wars are fought is evolving rapidly. So much so that Israel's air defense system was unable to neutralize this new kind of threat. Iran had been studying Israel's air defense system meticulously over the past decade. Israel's multi-layered defense, including the Iron Dome, David's Sling, Arrow 2, Arrow 3, and Iron Beam, is known for its cutting-edge technology. However, Iran discovered its weaknesses. Tehran put the Israeli defense system to a real-world stress test. The tactic was to overwhelm Israel's multi-layer systems. Phase 1, a massive wave of Shahed 136 suicide drones aimed at saturating radars and anti-missile systems. Phase 2, standard ballistic missiles were launched, forcing systems like Arrow and David's Sling to engage. Phase 3. Then came the ballistic missiles with fragmentation warheads, something Israel's defense systems were not designed to counter. Israel wasn't prepared for this new threat. Missiles that release dozens of small submunitions, which spread out rapidly and strike multiple targets simultaneously. This vulnerability exposed Israel's defense to an unexpected overload. While the Iron Dome is highly effective against isolated rockets and projectiles, it is not designed to intercept dozens of microscopic targets scattered in seconds. The cost-benefit equation also became unsustainable. An Iron Dome interceptor missile costs up to $100,000, while the rockets or drones it shoots down cost between $5,000 and $20,000. In the case of submunitions, there is no cost-effective interception possible. It became clear that Israel's air defense system must evolve to counter future attacks. Although Israel is investing in new technological solutions, the events of recent days have demonstrated that the country is not yet prepared to face certain types of missiles and large-scale attack waves. During the attack, Iran launched over 150 short and medium-range ballistic missiles, along with Shahed 136 suicide drones and Sumar cruise missiles. The identified targets included military bases in Negev and Ashkelon civilian and military airports, logistics centers, and critical infrastructure in Tel Aviv, Beersheba, and Holon, and even hospitals, including the Soroka Medical Center. The Israeli government officially stated that there were no casualties, but unofficial reports suggest multiple injured and dead. Additionally, fragments of Iranian missiles fell in central Israeli cities like Holon, sparking fires and panic. What raised global concern was Iran's use of ballistic missiles equipped with fragmentation warheads, also known as cluster bombs. These warheads release multiple submunitions upon detonation, dramatically increasing the range and destructive potential, especially in urban areas. A typical fragmentation warhead opens at about 7 kilometers altitude, releasing approximately 20 submunitions over a radius of 8 kilometers. These weapons are highly controversial, not only for their immediate effect, but also because many of the submunitions fail to detonate upon impact, remaining scattered on the ground, a deadly threat to civilians even long after the attack. For this reason, cluster munitions are banned by international treaties like the Convention on Cluster Munitions, signed by 112 countries. However, Iran and Israel are not signatories to this treaty. This type of weaponry represents a significant escalation in the conflict, greatly increasing risks to civilians and further complicating diplomatic efforts to achieve peace in the region. Despite Israel claiming that it successfully intercepted several missiles using its air defense systems, it became evident that these systems are far less effective against this kind of munition, as the submunitions are numerous and scatter unpredictably across wide areas. These submunitions disperse rapidly over a wide area, making it extremely difficult for radars and defensive missiles to intercept them effectively. Experts point out that Israel's air defense system was designed to neutralize specific strategic threats, not saturation attacks composed of dozens of small submunitions. One thing is clear, warfare is constantly evolving, and Israel must improve its air defense technology to keep up with emerging threats. According to the United States, Iran has crossed a red line, and a military response is now under serious consideration. Aircraft carriers, B-2 bombers, and Tomahawk cruise missiles are being deployed to the Middle East. A few days after this speech, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, officially declared the U.S. entry into the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran in the Middle East, and carried out an attack on nuclear facilities in Iran, with President Trump himself stating that 3 sites were targeted.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
Iran's decision to use ballistic missiles armed with fragmentation warheads represents a modern warfare strategy. Instead of spending millions of dollars launching large numbers of conventional missiles, Iran seeks to maximize the destructive effect of a single missile by dispersing submunitions over a broader area. The cost of manufacturing these missiles is relatively low compared to the high price of the interceptor missiles Israel relies on. Iran has demonstrated that strategy and tactical innovation can be just as effective as technological superiority. This attack proves that, despite Israel's highly advanced air defense systems, there are still serious limitations to be addressed. The use of fragmentation warheads by Iran highlights how new threats can emerge when vulnerabilities are identified and exploited. Iran's message to the world, especially to the United States and its Gulf allies, is clear. We have the capability to strike critical infrastructure and civilian targets in the heart of Israel, despite your advanced air defense. Beyond hitting Israel, Iran also sent a direct warning to Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and other Gulf nations. If you attack our territory or collaborate with Israel, your defense systems may also fail. Soldiers support HQ with a sticker. It helps the channel grow. Or if you want to get even closer, join the squad as an official member. The international reaction makes it clear. This is no longer just a Middle East conflict. Its impact directly affects the global geopolitical balance. Now, the question remains: will Israel adapt to this new Iranian weapon, or will it suffer severe impacts on its own soil? Israel has responded with airstrikes targeting Iranian military assets and positions in Iran's allied territories, especially in Syria. This conflict has significantly increased the risk of a full-scale war across the Middle East. The threat of unexploded submunitions remains a persistent danger, turning affected areas into deadly minefields for civilians long after the fighting ends. This harsh reality underscores the urgent need for diplomatic efforts to prevent the escalation and spread of this type of weapon in the ongoing conflict. Meanwhile, the world watches anxiously, hoping that technology, military strategy, and diplomacy combined can prevent this crisis from escalating into an even greater and more devastating war. You watch through to the end. Only real ones do that. Show some love with a like.